Hello, namaste. I'm Mridula Das, and today I'm going to share with all of you, in short, about a, a project, a long-term project, a complete idea that I'm working on. What I'm working on is one of the key uh, aspects, key characteristics, key features of any culture. Okay, um, but what I'm discussing today is focused on um, Odisha mostly. Is focused on handloom, focused on weaving, and focused on textiles that generate that are the result of that's created by weaving. Um, I think about 5, 6 years back, um, I jumped into this arena with a mindset to explore what are the different kinds of weaves that we can bring back to the mainstream, and how we can actually create a sense of respect, a sense of pride, and a sense of ownership uh, of our own heritage, art, and craft. I'm focusing on weaving, which does not mean that other crafts are sidelined, but as all of us know that India's weaving as such, if we look at the handlooms and the weaves that come out of India, they are huge. It's a vast repertoire that we have, and every 20, 30 kilometers there's a new design, there's a new sensibility, there's a new idea, concept that is growing and has been practiced. I come from a very my maternal village is a small village in Odisha. I belong to Ganjam, and Ganjam is a district, and Ganjam is known for its silk and cotton, very exclusive weave. I've grown up listening to the pitter patter of the weaving looms that we would hear as we walk down the street, and it has a beautiful music of its own. It's almost like getting into a trance, into a meditation, if we hear this sound of the music of the looms. That has been with me from my childhood, and as we are seeing now, with the coming in of a lot of technology, coming in of fast fashion, coming in of synthetic yarns, what has happened is that the indigenous weaving tradition has somehow gone into the background. It has somehow gone into the shadow, uh, especially because there has not been enough patronage. People, with industrialization, with modernization, with the coming in of this whole new era, quote unquote, we as consumers, we as people who could appreciate and make use of the products that become a result of such exquisite weaving, we have moved into more machine made, more power loom, more synthetic products, as a result of which these guilds, these artists who are born into weaving, who may not even know a single word, who may not even be literate, but make them to sit on a loom and they will create poetry for you. How they actually put the warp and the weft together to create such beautiful designs is something that's a miracle, that's a mystery. But unfortunately, because we as people, as citizens of this whole world, we have not been able to give them enough mileage, enough financial support, enough patronage, and at the same time enough respect, that people of this group have gradually moved out of the tradition, out of this heritage art that they have, this heritage skill that they carry with them. My project comes in here because what I wanted to, and what has been actually sitting in my mind is that what can we do about it? Are we just going to let it die out? Or are we just going to, live in this kind of a ghettoized, synthetic, mechanized, textile world where we just buy clothes because they are cheap, and therefore we buy enough and enough and enough, and still feel it is not enough, wear it for 5 to 10 times and put it in the dumping yard? Or are we going to look at how to make this process sustainable, so that even if I buy fewer pieces, I buy mindfully, and I buy because I am supporting a heritage art. I am carrying a piece for my future generation. It's going to stay as an heirloom. I personally have my great grandmother's, my grandmother's saris, which are 100, 120 years old. And each piece carries so many memories, carries such beautiful work. That is how I have come into the. At this point of time, I focus mostly on Odisha because Odisha has like innumerable weaving techniques, weaves and designs. And my focus is on Odisha, and I work with Odisha weaves. How do I work? I mostly work with weavers who are not known by others, who are not visible, who are not available to the public. There are a lot of people, a lot of artists, or maybe there are a few artists who have got the government recognition, who have got an award, who have got some publicity, which doesn't mean that those who are not visible, those who are not seen, are not talented. So my journey is to search for such talented weavers and artists, and incubate them, try to work with them together, so that we co-create the old designs which they have forgotten and thrown under the table, or somewhere they have forgotten, that's gone into the back end of their memory. Or and also support, work together to bring out new designs. Because you see how it has happened is, weaving a piece of cloth that we create is so representative of the times when it is woven, so representative of the culture where it is woven, so representative of the people by who it is woven. And so with time, certain sensibilities have changed, certain needs have changed. So we work together, especially with the weavers who work with me. We work together to create a sense, attire, create, clothes, which I think our 18-year-old, 20-year-old, to our 60, 70, 80-year-old would like to wear. These can be worn, these can be draped in various spaces. Okay, whether it is a festival, whether it is a family gathering, whether it's a corporate meeting, whether one is looking at casual day-to-day wear or travel, anything, because they are in sync with the changes, in sync with the mindset, in sync with the new needs of people. That is where I work with. And I work with weavers from Ganjam, from Nuapatna, from Sambalpur, Sonpur, Bargad, um, and many other places. I work with weavers from Koraput, and most of them are weavers who are very talented but who don't have any visibility. They have never marketed themselves. They have never thought in terms of actually going and putting up a stall in an exhibition, or writing up about themselves and sending it to the government, or going to a showroom and selling their products. They've never thought of these things. So most of my work, that is one major part of my work, is my research work and my field work, where I reach out to such weavers, um, visit them, stay with them, work with them, and see whether we can bring back some of the forgotten designs, some of the forgotten colors, some of the forgotten method of weaving that they have got. At the same time, also bring in new designs, new ideas, new creative stuff. For example, one of the weavers who reached out to me recently has woven uh, pure tussar sari, on which he has made the it is very seasonal and very topical. It is related to Holi in Odisha, especially in Puri Jagannath temple. There is a festival called Dolo Purnima. Dolo is nothing but jhula, or the swing, and the Lord, the three brothers and sisters, Jagannath, Balabhadra, and Subhadra, they sit in the ratha and in the jhula, and they are actually taken around the city. And this goes to different places. Everywhere people give their offering, they go around the city. Um, so this weaver has taken the concept, and he has created a sari where he has got this whole motif of Lord Jagannath, Balabhadra, Subhadra going around the nagar, or the city, the Dolo Purnima concept. And he has beautifully woven Radhe Radhe all over. When we see that, it feels like we are actually going back and celebrating the whole holy festival with the Lord himself and his siblings. So this is the sensibility, this is the creativity of our weavers. And it's my great fortune that I'm able to interact with them. I work with a particular weave which is called Ganjam Bomkai. It is woven in a small village called Bomkai in Ganjam district, and only 2 families are weaving it. Nobody else is weaving it. This is almost a I don't know, maybe about 1,000-year-old weave, which used to be woven in this area in Ganjam Bamkai only, and because of lack of patronage, it petered out, it died out, except for 1 or 2 families. I've had the fortune of, I work with these weavers, and we talk to people, we try to share with people the beauty of such work. And these are beautiful coarse cotton, vibrant in color, on which you get these cluster of pearls, or these cluster of flowers as borders, and small little temples. And the pallu has motifs from the local flora and fauna. So interestingly, you may find a bitter gourd, you may find not a swan but a batak. Okay, you will find the local animals, you will find flowers which are locally grown, found, and the weave is intricate. The pallu is to die for. I think somebody who has an old sari maybe, and the body is falling out, can just cut out the pallu and make it into a mural for the wall. It is so beautiful. I also work with Barhampuri weave, which is woven in the Barhampur city and the neighboring villages of Barhampur. Barhampur, interestingly, is known as the silk city, and it is known for its matte finish silk. The same silk, this is a beautiful thing that I would like to share with you all, is that silk, it could be the same yarn, the same twisted yarn, but depends on how the weaving technique, whether it will look shiny and smooth, or whether it will look rough and subtle, subdued. So the Barhampuri pattus are usually very subdued in their finish. They have a matte finish, they don't shine, or they don't kind of flash in your eye. That's what I'm working with. I work with the Kotpad weavers who come from the Mirigan community. They belong to they are an Adivasi tribe, and who wear the most sustainable clothes. Their thread is organic, coarse cotton. Their dyes are made from plant. For example, they use the roots of the al tree. They may use manjishta. They may use, harida, which is a fruit. When, for example, you must have heard of the term trifala. harida, bahada, and amla. When you soak them in an iron pot, the water becomes black. This harida with iron scrapes is used to get the black color. So they work with these, and they make use of whatever is available around them. They burn the cow dung and create an ash. They use castor oil cow dung to create this dye, so that when it is dyed on the cloth, it is good for the body. It does not create any rashes on the body. It is soothing for the body. And this is what is called the Kotpadvi. Of course, now it has become so, consumerized, that many, fake ones, many mimics, many imitations are coming in. I work with a young girl and her brother, uh, who both of them weave, and both of them are specialized in dyeing. After their father's passing away, both the children have taken up the family skill, the art of weaving, and they are running the family tradition. These are the kind of people I like to work with, because for me, that gives me a sense of joy, that gives me a sense of fulfillment, if I'm able to bring such people to the mainstream. Similarly, I do a lot of work with Nuapatna. Nuapatna is in central Odisha, very close to Cuttack. It is known for its Khondua Pato, which the Lord Jagannath wears. It is known for its Gita Govind silk, which only is offered to Lord Jagannath. They will not weave it for you or me, because it is meant for, it's a very sacred piece of work. Gita Govind, as many of you would know, is the poem written on Krishna by the poet Jayadev. It's one of the most beautiful, devout, and sensuous poetry available in Sanskrit. If you ever get a chance, do read it, and it'll take you to a different world altogether. So these shlokas, these stanzas from Gita Govind are woven on cloth. So, and how is it woven? Here I come to the next technique, which is called Bandha Kamo in Odisha. In Odisha, we have something what is called the Bandha Kamo, which is called Ikat in different parts of the world. In India, we have three places where Ikat is done: Odisha, Gujarat, and Telangana. In Gujarat, you find the Patola. In Telangana, you will find your Kutta and the Telia Rumal. And in Odisha, you will find Bandhakama of various nature. You will find your Sambalpuri, you'll find your Pasapalli, you will find your Nuapatna Khondua work, you'll find Gita Govinda work. So the repertoire is huge. And the most interesting part is the the letters are not printed. The letters are not written. The letters are first written on graph, then that graph is drawn on thread, dot with dots, and these dots are tied. The thread is tied, not the material. Okay, this is bandhani. Bandhani is done once the yarn is woven and you have a piece of cloth. This is the same process done on thread. And these letters are actually tied and then dyed out. The thread is dyed. And when the warp and weave and the weft are woven, these letters start coming out. It's almost like a Brahma Kamala. You've heard of the flower Brahma Kamalam? If you have a plant at home, you will be very lucky if you get a flower in, say, in 5 years or 6 years, and the buds start coming up, and they start unfurling and blossoming in the night. And it's a miracle to watch a Brahma Kamalam blossom. And they blossom and they last for just 2 to 3 hours. That's it. But when they blossom and form a flower, if you have watched it, it's like a divine revelation. The same happens when these ikat, ties, the threads which are tied, they are dyed and removed, and then they are treated and put in the loom, and you start weaving. Every time a shuttle moves, a new part of the design comes out. So this is the kind of work that I observe, I see, and I love to share with all of you. I'm not carrying any sample today, precisely because this is not the agenda. I don't want to show samples to you people. I think we can have another, maybe a discussion where that is done. So I work with these different kinds of weaves. I like to bring in these weavers to the mainstream, to make them market savvy, to make them economically, self-sustaining, and to give them a sense of pride and give them respect. On the other side, I do this because every time I see a piece of miracle in my hand, I experience, you know, a divine connect. For me, that's my passion, and that's what I like to bring to the world. I'm not the only one. I'm just a drop in the ocean. There are multiple people who are doing such wonderful work, such great work, that I feel I'm very lucky, very fortunate to have been given the opportunity to work with these artists.